All right, ladies and gentlemen, I got a good friend from high school.
Yep.
And tell us a little bit of what you do.
So, I mean, people know me as iPhone Papi on my Instagram, if you can tell by the shirt. That's what I like to go by. I'm a big Drake fan, so Drake is Champagne Papi. It only was right for me to be iPhone Papi. But nonetheless, what I do is I repair cell phone devices. iPhones are the main thing that I do. iPads. The idea behind it is make it easier for the customer. I drive around all day. I fix phones on site. 20 minutes or less is my goal. Screens I can do on site. iPhone screens I can do on site. iPads I can pick up and deliver and whatnot. But for the most part, I just try to make it easier for the customer, and I try to get their iPads, iPhones, Samsungs, whatever it is, repaired on site.
On site. Awesome. And when did you start this?
I want to say my 3 years is coming up. My 3 years is coming up, yeah. April. I remember when I first started, I was indecisive of leaving my job. So I was doing it right after college. I was kind of just doing it as a side gig. It started off as a hobby, spare cash here and there. But I was just mainly focused on wanting a 9 to 5. I wanted the whole suit. I wanted to be, play the whole role, But then I burnt out of my job. I'm like, you know what? Like I want to do something that I really enjoy doing. So at the time I was fixing phones. A friend of mine puts me on a friend that he didn't take my idea, but it was the same idea that we had together. And he just
a little bit of Facebook.
Yeah.
Right.
He took it to what I visioned it at first. He was very organized. He executed it very well. He had the app. He had the website. He had the car with the logo. The way he executed was very well done. And it was just the perfect timing that I was just done with my job. And he's like, hey, you want to come over and help me out and let's see where this thing goes? And I was like, why not? I probably worked with him for like a year or so. And that's when you kind of start learning that nothing is given. I was hoping that maybe he'd be like, hey, man, let's partner up. I like what you do. Let's do it together. Man, within a year, I'm like, you know what? I'm the next man up, man. I'm doing this on my own next time. So comes April around this time, 3 years ago, and I launched my own thing. My sister helped me do my DBA and whatnot. So here we are, 3 years in.
So you basically learned off of him. Did you shadow him for a while? Did you have to take certain classes for it?
So I did not. I knew how to fix phones. I know, right? No, don't get me wrong. I still YouTube a lot of stuff, a lot of new devices to see where things go and where here and there. But I learned in college. I was working at a phone shop. And the guy from the phone shop, I'm still very cool with him. He actually lets me work there sometimes to do some back classes and whatnot. But he pretty much taught me everything from the get-go. Pretty much I
start to finish.
Yeah, I call him my sensei.
Yeah.
Cobra Kai.
Yeah.
That's where it all started. And then, like I said, the new guy, the guy that came in that had this idea executed very well, he wasn't much help. He knew that I knew what I was doing, so he pretty much just let the business go and let me do the own thing, run it for himself. And that's when it was like, man, I'm running it for someone. Why not do it for me?
Yeah.
And then that's when the ball just kind of kept rolling.
So when you decided to go, 100% all in for you, did you have a goal on where you wanted it to be? Or did you still kind of just, I still want this to be kind of my business, but it's still a side business, right?
I mean, I guess at that point, I had no other income. I had let my job go, hoping that me and this guy could partner up and get something going. Mm-hmm. But he only saw me as an employee rather than like a business partner.
So you burned all your bridges right up front.
Exactly,
right?
yeah.
Okay.
But I tend to think about it. Have you seen The Social Network?
Yeah.
How Justin Timberlake in that scene, he says, you know what, you never know how big it can be when you throw a party.
Yeah.
It could either be a bus or it could go till 1 a.m., 2 a.m. I guess there's really no say what the goal was for me. I was excited and I was like, you know what, let's just see what happens.
Just start.
Exactly. I just kind of started going off. The good thing is that I had been doing it for a while. I had somewhat of a clientele. I had some people that knew what I was doing. I had friends that knew I was fixing phones. And then all of a sudden, ball just rolled in my court and it kept going.
Yeah. So you kind of mainly focus on iPhones because 98% of the world has iPhones, right? Do you do Samsungs? I think you mentioned it, right?
We do. So I have a guy that helps me out do some Samsungs. The thing with Samsung is Samsungs are pretty expensive repairs. A lot of people aren't willing to spend more than $200 on a repair for a Samsung.
Yeah.
iPhones parts, for some reason, they're a lot more cheaper, and they can get repaired for a lower cost than Samsungs, unfortunately. But we do repair those. If people want to spend the extra money, yeah, we're more than happy to do it.
Yeah. So what do you kind of see as being your arch nemesis, right? Just a phone case?
No, Apple now has like the ceramic phone or whatever, but it's funny because phone's been up for less than a year, and I've already gotten calls on getting any iPhone 12 repairs. But parts right now, it's a fairly brand new phone, so it's an expensive phone. Yeah. Parts are still super expensive. No one's going to drop $400 to get their phone fixed right now. A case really, I think it's like, I wouldn't say this is the biggest scam, but it helps it to somewhat, but it's not going to prevent it from not cracking. It's going to crack regardless.
Yeah, unless you got like one of those fat
Even otter boxes will crack the hell out of them. Yeah,
man, they're just too uncomfortable to keep in the pocket, man. It's like,
I love a naked
who even
phone.
Makes these, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah, and then sleek is obviously,
for sure,
sexy.
Exactly, right? Naked.
Yeah. How do you advertise your business? Is it just social media? Do you do any paid advertisement?
I try the whole paid advertising. I try to Google clicks per pay per click or whatever it's called. I found it to be not worth it. I would just get people calling for quotes, and you're paying for that click, but you're really not getting revenue. I mean, I know a lot of people are big on paid advertisement. Honestly, my biggest thing is Instagram. It's huge for me. I'm always trying to throw up a story. It attracts people to message me like, hey, how much for this? How much for that? Word of mouth is probably the biggest thing for me. It's 100% my favorite thing. Everyone's always like, hey, you know what?
Organic growth.
Exactly. Organic. Yeah. People are always like, I'm going to give this person your number, that person. And that's probably the best thing. It rolls around. Kind of like COVID. It just spreads.
Yeah.
From person to person.
Yeah. Now, talking about COVID, how did you pivot your business or adapt to the whole COVID thing, right? Because, I mean, you're handling something that's, in a way, very personal to somebody, right? And you're going to be touching it. You're going to be, you kind of do the face-to-face interaction. How did you adapt to that?
COVID was actually very fun in a bad way, not in a good way for me, in a bad way for the nation and the whole world. But come COVID time, I was very scared. Given part, I run the business from my home. At that time, my parents were still living with me, or I was still living with my parents. So I was very scared of going out into the world. And like you said, I'm interacting with so many people at a day.
So you were scared of possibly bringing something home.
Exactly. So I was about a week in when I was like, you know what? I'm just going to just have people come straight to my home, and I'll just conduct business strictly from my doorway. Have the people drop off the phone right in front, and then I'll just go take it inside, repair it, leave it off in the front door, have them come grab it, electronic payment. I realized that it wasn't doing the same thing that I was doing before. People loved that they did not have to leave their home. People loved you coming to their house. People loved the convenience of someone just doing everything for them that I couldn't afford to just stay at home during COVID. Plus, we didn't know how long this thing was going to last.
Yeah.
So, what I started doing was I started telling people the opposite. Leave it outside your door. I'll come grab it. I'll go in my car. I'll clean it. I'll sanitize it. I'll bring it back. Just quick pay, Venmo or Cash App, whatever they prefer to use, just for their convenience, But a month in, I want to say I got very lucky, and I hit someone that was a CBS news reporter, and she was amazed by what I was doing, especially during COVID, and she just loved the fact that I was going around traveling from place to place and fixing phones, and she decided to do a news segment on me on the spot. I could go on CBS
So was
News.
she just driving around, or did you fix her phone?
I fixed her phone. Yeah, she made me drive out to what was it, Barrington, and we did a segment in front of her porch. I know, right outside her house. So that really just kind of gave me some exposure to a new level. And then COVID, from that point on to whenever slow season starts, was end of December, my days were just crazy. It was just nonstop. But I mean, I can't complain, dude. I mean, that gave my business a whole nother level of life.
Of exposure,
Yeah,
for
exactly.
sure. And TikTok.
Dude, that's something I have not been on.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how I feel about it. I know Gary Vee talks a lot about TikTok, a lot of people. And then I like how people kind of show like videos of them doing maybe like fixing a phone or something. And I've thought about it, but I'm not too big on recording myself all the time. I think this is like the most I've had cameras on me, to be honest. But I'm not really always like having a camera or like a stand recording me what I'm doing. But it's a platform that I probably should try. I just haven't.
Yeah. I guess Gary Vee always says you want to be the first on the platform, right? And I feel like a lot of people nowadays too, they feel like they're too late to everything to maybe start.
For sure.
Because I mean, YouTube's been out for
years,
like 15 years now, and it's like, oh, is it too late for me to start a YouTube video? Is it too late for me to start advertising on something, right? Honestly, in my opinion, you just got to do it.
You just start.
You just got to
get
do
the
it
ball going
and be consistent.
For sure.
When you first started your own thing, right? Did you have a slow start? You kind of had clientele from the past guy, right?
For sure.
From your past business. Or whatever. But I mean, at the same time, that same clientele doesn't break their phones, you know, every week. How did it first start off for you?
So,
and when did you see, or what did you see was working for you to where you started getting a little bit more traffic, right?
Okay, so I've been fixing phones since college. I graduated college 2016, and that was just a side gig at that point, complete side gig. I remember I didn't even have screens in stock. I literally would go and just pick up my screens from the shop that I used to work at, and I would just be like, hey, throwing up a prayer that maybe he had the screens that I needed, right? But I never really had screens in stock. So I would, after work, I would drive up to his shop, grab the screens that I needed, and I would probably like work for 3 hours, do some repairs, and then call it a day. It got to the point.
So kind of even just like Grubhub.
Kind of in a way,
You go out
exactly, right? I'm going to go Uber for a bit, So it pretty much was very, very, very side gig material at that point. And then it got to a point where I started staying out later fixing phones. I would get out of work at 5 and I'll be out till like 10:30 on like a weekday working still. And then Saturday mornings I would wake up and then fit a couple repairs. And it just got to a point where I'm like, dude, do I just go full on with it? I was still scared, to be honest. And then just so it happened
Who isn't,
I know, right?
Yeah.
It got perfect timing to where I met that guy, and he was like, hey, jump on board with me. I think that kind of just was easier for me to let go of my 9-to-5 job and kind of get into this, what I'm doing now, from a different side. And working with him just kind of still let me do the same thing. I was still fixing phones, but I was still able to fit my people in at the same time. At some point, I was trying to bring in my people over to his to try to show him that, hey, man, I'm business material. I want to work with you. I'm a good partner. I don't think he saw it like that in any way. That happens, you know. No one wants to hand out anything, and I don't blame him.
Yeah.
But and then it just came to a point where I'm like, dude, I'm doing this for someone when I can be doing it for myself. Why not just do it for me 100%? And that's when I just jumped off. And don't get me wrong, dude. I mean, there's days that were super slow, especially when you're like relying on it. It's like your only income. You're just like, dude, like, do I go back to my 9-to-5 or like, what am I doing wrong? You know, but it's just a slow start.
It's just time. For someone new that's so we're out of, you know, the Chicagoland area. For someone in, you know, Kansas City or a college student in, I don't know, Texas or Florida or whatever, do you recommend them starting something like this?
I would say there's a lot. So there's a lot of sides to the business. I mean, I know people that just clearly buy phone screens and resell them. I know people that buy broken screens and send them out to manufacturers who can refurbish them. I know people that are just flipping phones as a whole. It really, there's really a lot of ways to enter the business. It just doesn't have to be phone repairs. That's what I'm good at. That's what I know, and that's what I'm sticking to. But there's a lot more ways, a lot more venues to branch out and make money in this business. I know a lot of people even like they'll buy broken repair phones or whatever they call them, repair stock, and they'll bring them by to me, and I'll charge them dirt cheap money for like parts and like labor, and they'll make a profit even after me fixing them, selling it off. So there's a good market for everyone. I'd say just kind of do your homework, do your due diligence, and you'll be able to, just make a buck off whatever you think you can do.
Now, have you thought of maybe even doing like an online course to get,
I've thought about it.
Papi certified, right?
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That is a good one. I've thought about it several times. I guess I get caught up in things.
Scared?
Yeah, scared, and also you don't want to give away the sauce,
Yeah.
Because let's just say I do it to my neighbor, and now my neighbor's my competitor.
Yeah.
And all I made was maybe like $1,000-$5,000 just teaching him, but he's got the sauce to make money for a living.
Yeah.
I'd rather have him come to me and get his phones fixed than him be fixing my phones and everyone else's phones. That's one thing that I see it. But yeah, it's crossed my mind several times. I have people ask me like, hey man, I'll pay you for you to teach me the business, how to repair a phone. And don't get me wrong, I've taught people just because there's people that break their phones like numerous times a day, I'd say. I see this guy like 3 times a week, and he's always just asking for a new screen just because he knows how to fix his phone now. But I sell him a screen 3 times a week, which is crazy, but it happens. So people like that, I'll teach. I'm like, man, here, I'll show you how to just fix your phone.
But that's personal use.
Yeah, exactly, for sure.
It's not for profit, right?
Exactly.
What are your goals from here?
It's hard, man. I really don't know how far this business can go. I've tried numerous things of kind of making it grow so where I'm more laid back. I'm doing more behind the desk work rather than being out in the field fixing phones a lot. I haven't been able to break through and find the way to how to just work from home, how to manage it from home, how to be a boss 100%. I've had people work with me. I have a guy that helps me out do some repairs. But I don't feel, it's hard for me to feel comfortable knowing
it's your baby.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Put it like that. You don't want a random person taking care of your baby. You don't know how well they'll take care of it,
Yeah.
And I guess that's me just not knowing how to let go or where to let go or who to trust with it. I don't know where I'm going with it. I'm just kind of taking it day by day, and it's growing for sure. I just don't know what the limit is or where I'll stop or where it'll take me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something to see.
Now, did you ever think of doing, could you even replace TV screens? Is it like the same thing, or have you looked at kind of just fixing all electronics in general? Or
there is repair. All electronics are repairable, I'd say. Now it takes a different skill. The guy that helps me out, he's a genius behind it. So I've never taken him a TV, but I'm sure if I take him a TV, he'll fix it.
Yeah.
But it's also, it gets to a point where how expensive are parts? How expensive was a TV? Is it really worth it? And then you got to pay yourself. You got to pay the guy that's fixing it. At that point, when you're outsourcing stuff, maybe I can think about it, but no, I'm not doing it. Yeah. But it's a good place to kind of think of.
Yeah. Now there's I drive by a ton of little stores that have storefronts, right? And kind of like I talk about, storefronts are kind of getting pushed to the side, right? Because everyone's doing things just like you, basically running their business out of their house just because of technology. Do you see that you're at a disadvantage because you don't have a storefront like that?
No, yes and no. When people Google phone repairs, I run the business from my home. You see a house. You don't see a storefront, right? You just see, and people are kind of like skeptical.
And it's very common.
I know.
Very common.
People are skeptical, like, is this a storefront? Is this a house? And like they get a little bit kind of like insecure, and they kind of start questioning the legitimate of your business. But dude, my stars, my 5 stars, my ratings, my reviews speak for themselves, and that's what's given me the advantage. So yeah, I don't have the advantage of a storefront where someone can just walk in. Yes, you got to call, make an appointment. You can't just walk in my house and get your phone fixed, right? But that's probably a disadvantage. But my reviews and my ratings and my customers have said so much great things about me that it makes me legit.
Yeah.
You know, so I can compete with You Break I Fix down the street. I can compete with someone else down the street. And work speaks for itself. But yeah, I do see a disadvantage. Like if you're just walking around in like a plaza and you want to like just step in a store and like, boom, buy a phone case, boom, buy this, buy a charger, buy headphones. That's where I'm at disadvantage because I can't just be carrying everything in my car and expecting to sell stuff, you know, like cases and accessories. It's just not going to happen.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Cool. Well, thanks for stopping by.
Dude, awesome, man. Appreciate having me, man. This is awesome. And I love little Raffy.
Tell everybody your Instagram. Tell them where they could reach you at. Once again, we're in the Chicagoland area. I don't know if you travel as far as
I'm all over the place,
Wisconsin, Indiana-ish.
No,
that's too far.
Yeah.
Too far.
Well, funny thing, my girlfriend actually used to live out by Horseshoe Casino.
Okay.
So best believe when I was going to visit her, best believe I was fixing a couple of phones before I got to her house.
Yeah.
So I've been all over the place, dude. I mean, I've been down to Joliet. I've been down to the south side, way down south, down to Hyde Park. I made it out to Markham, Burbank. I've been all over the place. I've been up north like Zion. There's actually been times I've been up to Milwaukee to fix phones.
Yeah.
It just depends. If it's a slow day and I need that extra cash, I'm driving all in Milwaukee. And if it's a big phone, I'm driving out there. But for the most part...
So you aren't driving a V8...
No, I still got the little Mazda. It's pushing to 20,000.
Gotta get that gas efficiency for those long trips. Right?
Tesla's gonna be the next thing, probably.
Yeah.
No, you guys can find me at iPhone Papi _10, or you guys can find me at iNowphonerepairs as well. Logo's on the back if you can't see. But yeah. You guys can call me at 224-325-9872. Shoot me a text, give me a call. My phone's always on. My family and my girlfriend hates it because I'm always on my phone. But, dude, it's business.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. And once again, we're in the Chicagoland area. At least, Nick is. So if you're from, wherever you're from.
Just give me a call. We'll make something happen.
Yeah.
For sure.
So, once again, thanks, man.
Dude, thanks man. I appreciate it, man. It's awesome being here.